urged him not to have any further dealings with Nate Paul, to let the lawyers, the professionals in the Office of Attorney General, handle these matters as they saw fit. The Attorney General committed to me, with Mr. Rylander and Mr. Brickman in the room, that he would have no further dealings, that he would allow the office, the professionals in the office, to handle the matter.
Well, you can see right there, it was a dramatic start to a historic trial in Austin. This morning, attorneys in Ken Paxton's impeachment trial are now gearing up for day 2.
Our Victor Jacobo was there. Victor, what was the energy like yesterday?
Yeah, there was a lot of tension built up in that room, and even if you were just watching on TV, it probably came across because a lot of the big players in this impeachment trial were all together in one room for the first time, really, since the House impeached and voted to impeach Ken Paxton earlier this year. Before things got started and people were kind of taking their seats, Ken Paxton, his wife, Senator Angela Paxton, walked into the Senate chamber, acknowledged and waved to their supporters who were seated in the public area of the Senate gallery to take in and watch the impeachment trial. The senators, acting as the jury in this whole process, took their seats for what's expected to be a weeks-long impeachment trial. And of course, the big-name lawyers took center stage and basked in the spotlight when they took their moment for opening statements. But once that was all taken care of, it was down to business, and they called their first witness in this impeachment trial. That was Jeff Mateer. He was a former first assistant attorney general of Texas and one of the whistleblowers in this trial. And this is really what the crux of the trial is. It's whistleblowers getting their day in court to kind of talk about their concerns of Ken Paxton's alleged conduct while he was acting as attorney general. Now, for Jeff Mateer, his concerns were Paxton's involvement in a lower court case. That one was involving Austin real estate developer Nate Paul, with whom Paxton is accused of taking bribes from, and the Mitty Foundation, a nonprofit that sued Paul.
I wanted to find out what Mr. Paxton was thinking, because it was inconceivable to me that he would want to go to district courts to argue something.
Did you know at that time on whose behalf the argument would have in effect been?
I think, Mr. McCarty, yes, I would have known.
And who was that?
Well, it would have been in the Mitty Foundation at the urging of Mr. Paul.
Now, Mateer did not finish his testimony because they concluded the day yesterday early, so he will return to the witness stand to finish his testimony, and then attorneys will then call in their next witness. Reka?
All right, Victor, a lot of information the public didn't know is now coming out with that testimony. This is expected to take weeks. So what was the pacing like yesterday?
Yeah, even with all that tension and build-up, things got a little, with moving into some speed bumps yesterday. Really were some of the procedure. This is the Senate really converting and transforming into a courtroom, but this is a pretty historic impeachment trial, and it's pretty new for everyone. The lawyers and attorneys in this case really bringing up a lot of procedural issues and objections. And at the center, it's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who is acting as a presiding judge in all of this. And he's trying to make sure that both sides are able to have a fair trial. But outside of this, he's not a judge. This is, he's kind of new to this role and trying to make sure he's walking that line of giving everyone a fair say and a fair shake for this trial. So we'll see how it all proceeds going forward to make sure that everybody has what they believe will be a fair trial. Rika.
Absolutely. Victor, thank you. In all, Paxton faces 20 articles of impeachment, but the Senate is only hearing 16 of them right now. Let's take a look at some of the major ones. The first one is Article 15. It claims Paxton made or caused others to make multiple false or misleading statements. This all stems from responses to the whistleblower claims tied to a 374-page report issued by the Attorney General's office. Article 17 is misappropriation of public resources. This accuses Paxton of misusing his official powers by causing employees to perform services for his benefit and the benefit of others. The committee's investigators say Paxton used state employees to perform work that benefited Austin real estate investor Nate Paul, costing the state at least $72,000 in taxpayer money. Finally, Article 18 is dereliction of duty. This accuses Paxton of violating the Texas Constitution and his oaths of office by acting against public's interest. Our live team coverage continues in 30 minutes. KHOU 11 political analyst Brandon Rottinghouse is going to join us live on air with his take on the first 24 hours of this historic trial. And we're making it easy to get those updates right to your phone. Just text the word Paxton to 713-526-1111. We'll text you back links to our coverage on KHOU.com.